What's up, y'all? You know I had to do something for the Tea Time family. I'm not a rapper, by the way. I'm gonna just try to sound cool. Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is T. That's T to the IA. I used to play Sega Dream back in my day. Player one, cause my settings always on play. The older sibling of my family. I'm ready to rumble, then proceed without fumble. All you other cats is just like the giants in trouble. Recorders speak some truth, dispel they lies. Relax, sit back and chill, cause it's tea time. Peace. Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, everyone. You know what time it is. It's tea time. And I'm here drinking some nettle tea today. So let's talk about it. What is nettle tea good for? Nettle tea has a lot of benefits. But it supports eye health, which is good for me because I'm blind. It may alleviate pain. It inhibits oxidative stress, which means that when your cells break down and your body doesn't really function properly, then this can kind of stop that from happening. It reduces the risk of infection. It protects the heart health. It may treat benign prostatic hyperplasia, which is an enlarged prostate in men. And it works as an antihistamine, aka it fixes your allergies. And that's about it. So those are the benefits of nettle tea. I'm drinking it again in my Tea Time Podcast mug. And I'm also drinking it with slices of lemon. Because nettle tea isn't that tasty, but with lemon it's pretty good. And it's soothing everywhere. So that's what's up with the tea I'm drinking today. In more tea, I have some life lessons today because I definitely learned a really big life lesson this week. So like, how many people like salmon? Because I do. If you like salmon, this week I learned the life lesson of do not buy salmon from ShopRite. Yeah. So I haven't bought salmon or fish in like a long time. Just because I've been eating like chicken or vegetables, like with no meat at all. But lately I've been trying to get back into fish because I do really like fish and salmon is my favorite. And I was at ShopRite because that's closest to me. So I said, okay, I'll pick up some salmon. Let me make sure that it says wild caught. And I just picked up the pack that said wild caught. Didn't do too much investigating. So, fast forward to me needing to cook it. I pull it out to thaw. And I'm like, this salmon is like really, really, really pale. Like, it's very pale. And I let it thaw. It looks even paler. And I cook it. And I find this recipe online. And I'm inviting my mom over. She's going to have some of the salmon. And yeah. The salmon didn't taste too good at all. And it's not because of the recipe. I cooked it perfectly. All of that. But you know how salmon has a fishy taste? Like it will always, no matter how you season it, taste like salmon. Like you can taste it. And that's like a reason why I like salmon. Well, this fish, whatever it was, did not taste like salmon. And then I look at the pack and it says produced and packaged in China. So I'm like, how are you going to get wild caught salmon produced and packaged in China? And it's supposed... No, that's not natural. That's not good. That's fake salmon. So I bought fake salmon from ShopRite. The best salmon that I've gotten is typically from Wegmans, if you have that kind of store near you. These are all like stores that are in New Jersey, close to my area. But just if you have a ShopRite, if you have an Aldi's, if you have one of those like cheaper stores, Pathmark, if that exists anywhere in the world anymore, I suggest, with my life lesson that I learned, do not buy salmon from these cheap stores. Just don't do it. So I'm actually going to put a link in the show notes to a place where you can buy salmon. Like, you can buy salmon from this place online. It's from Alaska. It's actually wild caught. My mom buys it all the time. The salmon is really good, very rich, very red. So yeah, check that out. But I definitely learned a life lesson. If your salmon doesn't taste like salmon, there's an issue, and it may not be you. But moving on, welcome to Tea Time Podcast, everybody. I hope you're doing awesome. I am recording at night, so my energy will probably be different. I am eating as well. Got some pasta for those of you who can see me. But today, I wanted to speak about the 3 Ps. What are the 3 Ps? It's just 3 Ps that I made up that I think are very helpful in manifesting what you want in life. Because everybody talks about manifest what you want in your life. You can manifest your dreams. You can manifest this. But we don't really discuss how to manifest these specific things that people are always talking about. So I came up with 3 Ps, which kind of breaks down a type of mindset or a philosophy that you can take on or try in your own life that I've used that can help you to manifest the things that you want to happen in your life. So what are these 3 Ps? Let's look at it. The first P is purpose. The second P is positivity. And the third P is prosperity. So let's break this down. Alright, so first, I just wanted to highlight some examples of when manifestation, Ooh, wow. I wanted to highlight examples of when manifestation has worked in the public. Wow, I don't know what's wrong with me. I ate too fast. Maybe. I was hungry. But anyway, I wanted to highlight examples of when manifestation has been in the public eye and different celebrities have spoken about manifestation. Now, don't get it twisted. You can manifest positively and you can manifest negatively with things that maybe you don't want. For example, of negative, I always think of Biggie Smalls, and the last album that he made before he was killed was Ready to Die. Oh my bad, not Ready to Die, Life After Death. So it's kind of like he either felt that something was about to happen in his life, or maybe he was ready. Maybe he was ready and he brought that situation to him because of how he was living his life, because he was ready. He was ready for life after death. So that's an example of negative manifestation. But then, of course, we have examples such as a huge proponent for manifestation is like Will Smith. You have people like Lady Gaga, Jim Carrey, Oprah, all of these people who believe that the thoughts that you put into your head create your life. So here's a clip of Will Smith speaking about something that I thought was awesome, that I think encompasses both types of manifestation that we can have. So listen to it here. Alright, like, it was very simple what he said, but that was profound. Like, that Confucius quote was definitely profound because it's true. It's like, yeah, y'all both right. So what do you want? You get to choose. So anyway, moving forward into the first P that I believe is critical is purpose. So why is purpose critical? Number one, if you are living your life without purpose, if you are living your life where you don't believe that you have purpose, that is a life that perhaps you're not manifesting the things that you want. Perhaps things are just happening because you're not sure of what direction you want to go in. So let's speak about purpose, starting with the definition, of course, as I like to do. So the definition of purpose, the noun, is the reason for which something exists or is done, made, used, etc. An intended or desired result, end, aim, goal. Determination, resoluteness. So that's the noun of purpose. So that is pretty awesome. I think the way that we're taught purpose when we grow up is that we all have a purpose and we should find our purpose throughout our life. I think that type of thinking can be harmful Because in times when we don't feel purposeful, which when we live in a society as we do, that can happen because we are bogged down with things like bills. We're bogged down with things when we're younger, like school, studying. And when we're not successful in like studies and school, etc., we think that because we're not successful in the things that are facing us in life at the moment, then we don't have a purpose and we become depressed. But I think that could be because we're taught to find our purpose. When I believe that a better way to create purpose in your life is to create your purpose, to decide what your purpose is to create something, is to create the usefulness that you have. Because if you are creating what your purpose is meant to be, then wouldn't your purpose be true? Because it's completely from you. And of course it'll develop. When you're young, it'll change and develop and grow in time. However, it will always be meaningful because you're the person who's behind that drive. You are the person who creates the purpose of your life. And it's not something that's handed to you, but it's something that you live for. And it's something that you create. I think purpose needs to be reconfigured in the minds of general population so that we know that each of us have a purpose, not because somebody told us, but because each of us are creating purpose behind the things that we do. We're creating purpose behind the things that we learn, that we say, etc. Because we have the power to do that as people. And I think that's at the root of manifestation, because when you realize the things that come to your head are not just thoughts, but they're also visions, when you form it into your head correctly, then we'll be on the way to prosperity, which is the third P. But first, let's go on to the second P, which is positivity. Now let's start with the definition of positivity. By the way, I just want to say before we get into positivity, my shout out to my mom, because I believe my mom was very good at helping me to find my own purpose. She had her ideas for my career. She had like the talents that she saw in me, and she helped me to form and be more comfortable with. However, she always let me lead my own direction when it came to my purpose, and she would help me to expand my mindset around the purpose that I selected. So that type of mentorship and that type of motherhood as well is very important when it comes to purpose. So when you have a mentor, you have somebody who makes you feel okay with what it is that you want to do in life. Keep that person around, because they'll help you to grow, and you'll help you to grow because of their influence. So moving on to positivity, let's look at the definition of positive. So positive is an adjective, and the definition is explicitly stated, stipulated, or expressed. Admitting of no question, stated, express, stated, express, emphatic. Confident in opinion or assertion, fully assured. So I didn't expect this definition of positive. I thought positive would be, happy thoughts and, that type. But I like this definition a lot, because let's try to use these definitions in a sentence. Examples of that are like, he is positive that he will win the contest. So just because we are positive about something does not necessarily mean that we have happy thoughts about it. We could be positive that the weather tomorrow is going to be horrible, but we're positive. So what is that positive piece? It's that we know and we believe and we truly have deep rooted within us that this one thing is going to happen. Like something is going to happen. So you can be positively negative in your thinking, or you could be positively positive. So I believe that colloquially we begin to use positive incorrectly as people, because I try to flip it and bring it back to math class when I was learning about addition and subtraction of negative and positive numbers. It's not that one is necessarily bad or good. It is just that one, a negative number, subtracts from something, when 2, a positive number, will add to something. So if you're adding to something, you're adding into the existence of something. So if I'm positive that I'm going to fail a class, I'm adding to the existence of that reality. But if I'm positive that I'm going to ace this class because I'm working hard to do so, even if it's hard for me to do well, then I'm adding to the reality that I'm going to be successful in that class. So kind of coinciding with purpose, when you have a purpose and you're moving purposefully, you're positive. You begin to get positive about where it is you're going and what it is you're doing, and even what it is that's encountering you and you're encountering, because you have a direction. So you're not very concerned with what comes into your life because you're focused on the direction. So you know that you want to add to your success, and you're furthering yourself in that journey of your direction. So I really like the actual definition of positive, and I'm glad I looked it up, because it has more to do, and mind you, negative and positive numbers confuse the mess out of me in math, but it's because I would always think of positive as like happy and yay, and negative is bad and boo, when that's not necessarily what it is. We can think of it in subtraction and addition. And when you have purpose, you can always add to your life. And the thing is, you can add something that will help your journey, or you can add something that will take away from your journey. So when we have positivity in our life, we're always adding, and we are aware of what we're adding into our life. And then we begin to purposefully add positivity and add good things into our life, which helps us to manifest those positive things. So I think that was like a breathtaking definition for sure. But let's move on to the third P. And this is something that is a scary word for me because I'm not rich. Right? Prosperity. What the heck does prosperity mean? So prosperity means a successful, flourishing, or thriving condition, especially in financial respects, good fortune. So prosperity is when you're successful. Prosperity is when you're flourishing, thriving. But it's not only what you have and what you can put in your hand, but it's your condition, right? So of course, we typically use prosperity in financial respects. However, when we connect prosperity with purpose and positivity, what it is, when you think about it, is that we can be prosperous every single day. In every single thing that we do, we have the opportunity to be prosperous. Why? Because when we have a purpose, that means we have a direction. When we're positive about our direction, that means we're pushing ourselves forward in our journey on that direction all the time. And that also means that we're winning. That means we're winning. When we have purpose, when we're positive about our purpose and moving forward, it leads to prosperity. That means we're winning. That means even if I don't have $10 in my pocket today, I accomplished something. Perhaps when I'm younger, I'm in school, that was my studies. I accomplished my studies. I didn't take the test yet, but I know I studied today. I know I put in time towards the purpose and the goal that I have of passing that class. When I'm older, right? I know that I don't have $1 million to go spend and do whatever I want with. However, I do know that I just saved 10. And I paid my bills as well. So I paid all of my bills and was able to save this $10 because I acted with purpose. I had some positivity that aimed at that purpose, but pushed me forward in my direction, and it made me successful. I'm thriving in that savings that I have. I'm flourishing and I'm feeling good. And it takes some reflection. Prosperity takes reflection, because you can't really feel good unless you kind of sit with yourself sometimes, right? I like journaling. I like meditating. But in those moments when I sit with myself, I always get communications from, I believe in Allah, God. But I get communications and I get kind of feedback about what I've been doing in my life. And it's in those moments that I realize how prosperous I have been and that I am becoming as well. Because these are all continued things. It doesn't stop in your life. So when it comes to prosperity, there are different levels of it. And our entire life leads to the ultimate goal that we may have that maybe even extends beyond our life because we create beings, so we have legacy, right? So that prosperity piece is very critical and very key, but it also takes reflection. It takes things like journaling, meditation, it takes relaxation, it takes having fun for you to kind of realize the positive position and the great position that you are in because of the purpose, the positivity. You've reached prosperity. And I believe that even those little bits of prosperity should be celebrated. When you make a goal and you achieve it, you just manifested. You've manifested something in your life. When you also make a goal and you don't believe you're going to achieve it and you don't achieve it, you've also manifested, but you haven't manifested anything that added to your life, right? That's why positivity is such a critical part of the 3 P's that I've put together and I believe have helped me. These are the concepts that have helped me in my life, and I've been through a lot, but I've been able to do a lot with the situations I've had in my life, just because of my mindset, because of my thinking. And of course, it's a blessing. Of course, none of this is on my own. None of this is because I'm Superwoman, but it's because of the help of Allah that I've had in my life, or God. But for example, right? After college, I taught for 1 year, saved up some money, and then I decided I'm going to quit and I'm not going to work because I want to spend time with myself. I had a purpose, right? But there was like a lack of positivity in that purpose. I was very unsure about what I was doing and how I was going to learn myself. I procrastinated a lot throughout that year. I spent a lot of money throughout that year, but didn't gain a lot of money back in doing things like my photography business and the things where I'm not employed, but I'm making money and putting myself out there. I did it sometimes, and I would kind of lose the positivity and the assurance that I had within myself in the beginning of my decision. And because of that, I had some financial struggles. I tripped and fell. However, I always got up. It was rough, stumbled trying to get up, but I did get up. And it's because I stayed positive. No matter my situation, no matter what the rent looked like the next month, I stayed positive, and I figured out the ways to add to my life so that I can continue on my journey and continue on my purpose. And even when my goal of having a full year off needed to come to a short end, I still did it. I did it. I continued to grow. I continued to manifest. I knew that I wanted to live on my own. I knew that I didn't want to work or have freedom in the space that I worked in. And I also knew that I wanted to work with people to help them. And I was able to do all of that by Allah's grace. That's such a blessing. But it was a manifestation. That's a manifestation. And the idea of purpose. I've always had purpose in my life. And then the positivity, the assurance of that I can do this, that I can add to myself, that if I think it and it comes to my mind, then I can make it physically happen, led to the prosperity of where I am now, where I know that when things get rough, I'm able to handle it. That's not an issue. Also, that when things get rough, I can make them better. Also, that things don't have to get rough because I can prepare for it not to be rough. So that will happen in life all the time. But when it comes to manifestation, we have to be very careful with our mindset. We have to be very aware of our mindset as well. And I just believe that these 3 concepts, purpose, positivity, and prosperity, are like critical in being able to manifest the things that we want to manifest in our life instead of manifesting things that maybe we don't necessarily want. We just have to be conscious. So I love this topic. I love it. Just some tools for anyone who's not vibing with this and you thinking, how the hell do I do this? What am I supposed to do? Check out things like yoga. Yoga practice is awesome. Meditation, I mentioned before. Journaling. Having an accountability partner as well. A friend or family member or romantic partner, husband, wife, who can hold you accountable to the goals that you have and keep your mind thinking forward, right? Also reflection. Reflection is part of that prosperity piece. Whereas, think about yourself a year ago. Where are you now? And what do you think filled that gap? That type of reflection is so critical and it's beautiful. Like you'll love yourself after it. Even if you're not exactly where you want to be right now, that reflection piece helps you to see where you were and how that's not where you are now. So it's okay. But yeah. Definitely let me know some of your manifestation stories. If you have a manifestation story, one that's negative or positive, hit me up. Let me know. You can go on anchor.fm/teatimepodcast and you can send me a voice message and I'll be able to listen in to your messages and your stories. And perhaps you'll be on a follow-up episode of the podcast as well if you would like to. And also, you can email me at teatimepodcast@gmail.com so that if you like writing things out, please send me your journals, send me your reflections typed out. I love reading. So send it to me and let me know your manifestation stories. Let me know how this episode affected you. Let me know if you like Will Smith, all of that. Check out the show notes. Check out the resources that I have for you. Also, I have a huge announcement. Very huge. I had one last episode, but this announcement is a personal growth. It's a personal announcement about me. So if you would like to hear this announcement, you can join my Patreon. I'm going to have a bonus episode all about this announcement. So definitely thank you to my Tea Time family who supports me financially. If you're able to, go to patreon.com/teatimepodcast and you can subscribe to the podcast. You'll get extra episodes. You'll get extra announcements like this one. And you'll get some extra merch. You'll learn things first. I want everyone who is supporting me to learn things first. So shout out to my Tea Time family. Shout out to everyone who is listening. Welcome if this is your first time. And thank you for tuning in. I really hope you enjoyed this episode. Peace.